Hello, students. Just so you know, I'm recording this with other people in the game studio who are listening to me and silently mocking me as I do the things. I'm constantly being judged by my people. Anyway, if you hear background noise, it's because there's other people in here making games. Um, I want to do another follow-up video that shows you a little bit about Darwin's demons and how it collects data and where it puts it on your computer. Here we go. I'm going to leave it in arcade mode for right now, but if you're sort of getting ready to run some experiments with Darwin's demons, what I want you to do is go down here to options. If you click on options, you'll see this. Ignore controller mapping unless you're a super nerd. First thing you want to make sure before you start doing any experiments, record data is checked. So you see the little check mark here? That's really important because otherwise you'll play the game a bunch of times and then you won't have any data and then you'll be mad at me. The other things you can, they're self-explanatory. You can do what you want in terms of resolution and full screen or windowed mode and sound effects and music. And I mean, the game does have I think a 12-track soundtrack if you really want to turn that on and listen to the music that was actually created by two students, Tyler Ganelli and Sam Carlson. They graduated several years ago, but they were from the Lionel Hampton School of Music. So fun. When we make these games, we hire a lot of different people. Anyway, the button that you care about is right here. It says Open Data Path. So when we build games in Unity, it can be sometimes challenging to write to your hard drive all of the data in a predictable and repeatable place because not everybody has the same data structure on their hard drives. So to help everybody find out where it's putting the data, Sam put in this little button, Open Data Path. And what it does is it just opens in your Finder on your Mac or your Explorer on a PC or on your whatever the hell they call it when you're using a Linux machine. And it'll just open a window and it'll show you all the data files that you have made. Okay, so we're going to do that now. I'm going to click Open Data Path and we'll see if it goes on that monitor or this monitor. Come on, machine. I clicked Open Data Path. There it goes. Okay. So, this has taken me to a place on my computer that is actually quite difficult to find unless you know what you're doing. So you can see the path down here is like users, vary, library, application support, unity.polymorphicgames.darwin's demons, data. It'll vary on your machine. It won't be that path. It'll be something slightly different. And it varies across Mac and PC. But at any rate, here are all the data files that I have made. Okay? Most of the time I'm going to go ahead and throw these ones in the trash so they don't confuse people. The naming convention is data underscore date underscore some kind of timestamp. So each data file is named according to the date and timestamp. And this is important because one of the things you're going to end up doing is renaming your data files as you run replicates. But we'll get to that in another video. So what I'm going to do is open up one of these data files and I'm going to kind of orient you to what it looks like if you open it up in a spreadsheet program like Excel. Here we go. Let's open up one of the ones I did yesterday for one of the videos. So did this on September 1st. And when you double click on it, it is what's called a .csv file. .csv means comma separated values. Here's the thing. Usually, if you double click on a .csv file, oh, I don't know. There we go. Sorry, I got distracted by OBS. If you double click on a .csv file, it usually defaults to Microsoft Excel if you've got it. You do not want to analyze the data for this lab using Microsoft Excel, and I will show you why. Every time you run Darwin's Demons, every single alien is recorded as a row in this CSV file. And the values for that alien for a variety of variables are recorded. And so what you end up getting, if you look here, is we've got column A through that's a lot. Okay? So what we've got is, if I highlight all of this stuff, however many aliens you killed times, how many columns is that? It used to tell me. 59. So 59 or 60 variables times however many aliens you killed. And you need to play the game for 10, 15, 20 generations. If there's 100 aliens per generation, you know, you're getting a couple thousand aliens per replicate times 60 variables. You don't want to be handling this data in Excel. That's the old way of doing things. It's not the data science or data literacy way of doing things. We're going to teach you how to do this in R and hopefully Python. So this is just one file, and it has a mix of different kinds of variables. So you can see it tells you what ship, alternate fire mode, shield type and augment you used, how many lives you had left. It has a variable for generation, and then it has all of this information over here, which is the information for each alien for each generation, including which every alien has an ID value here, and it'll tell you who its mom and who its dad was. Okay? So there's actually a fair amount of information in here, and handling it in 16 different tabs of Excel is just like, that's a rookie move. That's not what you want to do. All right. So you click on the Open Data path. You can see your data. You double click on a thing, and it can open it up in Excel. We're not going to do that. We're going to batch handle the data. It's going to be great. Okay. But what I just want to do is kind of orient you to what the game kind of produces and how to find it. Options, Open Data path. Okay. So when you go to analyze your data, I'm going to go ahead and exit out of Excel here, and we'll go back to this thing. What I am going to do is I'm going to clear out my data folder so that it'll just start from scratch. If you've piddled around and played the game a couple of times, chances are you're going to have however many times you played the game. If record data was checked, you'll have that many data files sitting in here. Okay? You kind of want to pay attention to when you start collecting data as an experiment. You want to know what those data files are and what conditions that you collected them under. Some of that's in the data file, some of that is not. We call the data about the data file metadata. Okay? So the metadata about each of these data files is things like what date was it collected, what type of ship did you use, who was the player, all of those kinds of things. All right? So that's a little bit of orientation on how Darwin's Demons writes the data about the game to your hard drive and where you can find it. And I think I'm going to stop this video there and make it nice and a short one so that you can digest these in little chunks. All right, I'm going over to OBS. I'm going to click the stop button.